video is brought to you by Letsynthesize Academy, the #1 place for practice-oriented courses for serious music producers.
Hey, Del Larsen here. Do you want to know how Noisia make their basses so fat and wide, something like this? I talk about this and a lot more in the latest Letsynthesize Academy course, the Noisia style Neuro drum and bass start to finish, but right now let's learn how to make this bass sound so fat and wide. Okay, so I'm talking about this bass sound. And as you can hear, it's really wide and fat. Now, without this layer that I'm going to reveal you today, it's good, but it's not that fat. Now, this clip sounds really similar to the Noisia 00 track, and how they make really wide and fat sounds. I saw an interview with them, and they say they make a really narrow and almost a very simple bass sound, and they build a really fat kind of thing around them that is really wide and basically has no middle information, only side information, and the dry bass has basically only mid information. So this is what I try to do here. So let me jump into it. Let me show you that this is the mid bass sound. So what I did here is I basically just made it mono. Let's see the Serum preset. As you can see, I use 7 voices of unison. Oh, by the way, if you want this preset, you can download it from my Patreon. But you know, this has lots of stereo informations, lots of phases and stuff. So if you, for example, go to the utility and pull back the width, what you get is lots of phase problems, especially on the low end, some flanges, phaser kind of stuff. So what I suggest you to do, and what I always do, is instead I just click on the left or the right channel of the sound, and basically you get a very dry and very mono sound with no phase problems basically. So this is how I made this sound mono. Okay, so this is the dry bass sound, and to talk about the sound itself in Serum, it's just very simple. It's just a square modulated by a filter MG Low 18 with this envelope. Very simple. And in the effects I added a compressor and a distortion. So this is it basically. The distortion basically only distorts the beginning of the sound, so I didn't want to distort the filtered part, only the unfiltered part. So this gives nice transience to it. So very simple. I added a multiband compression, an EQ8 to cut a little at around 500 Hz because that was very ear bleeding. I added a trash too, but this is not very important. It adds some nice crunch, but you can achieve that by other distortion devices. An EQ8 to clean the sound up a little more. A little overdrive with 10%. And this is where I, made it mono, a saturator and a limiter. So basically this is the sound. It's very simple, but this sound would not sound that fat without an extra side layer. So let me jump into the next Serum preset. And basically this is just a new instance of the previous bass sound where I changed several stuff. The Serum preset is really simple. I changed the wavetable from a square to this distorted bass dropper from digital. And the good thing in this, you can change the sound by just simply browsing through the wavetable position knob or edit the warp mode. It doesn't really matter, so you can play around with this in your song also. And now instead of an LP filter, I use an HP multi-filter. And some more effects, especially with the reverb filter, that gives some very nice washed out effect and adds some huge width information to it. Okay, now here comes the trick. Once you apply the multiband compression, an EQ8 with the same settings, a Trash 2 with the same settings, another EQ8 with the same settings, except that I didn't chop off the very lows in the previous preset. I apply this utility where I right click on this knob and chose the mid-side mode, and basically I just cranked up this knob and chose only the side information. So this way you can add a very different character, a very different side effect to your bass sound that will not collide with your mid bass sound, and that is very good. The bass will be very strong on the low end and also very wide, and you will have unlimited control over, just playing with the levels of these layers. So very nice techniques, and I know that Noisia does the same because they told us in an interview. By the way, if you want to learn more about Noisia style Neuro drum and bass production, click here. I made a full course building up a full Noisia style drum and bass song on Letsynthesize Academy, where I talk a lot more about Neuro drum and bass production, Noisia style tricks and tips. The reviews are very good, people love it, so just click here. Okay, so this was the tip for today, for this week, and if you want to grab this whole thing, just check my Patreon. See you guys next time. Peace.